We've seen the Rays have home games outdoors. We've seen the Rays have home games in Tampa, and now historical first, a rain delay. I don't know if anybody's ever been as excited for a rain delay, because my understanding is the Rays marketing and PR team came prepared as they had ponchos.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
We're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 7th season covering the Rays daily.
So go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear and settle in as we discuss quite a bit on today's episode. The Rays taking 2 out of 3 against the Milwaukee Brewers at the Stein. Oh my gosh, it actually happened. They won a series on their home turf. We'll dive into what happens, what it means, and where they go from there. We also have a listener question that we want to dive into as well.
Yes, we do. But before we get to all that, we should tell you that this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That was a cool series that we just witnessed during the weekend. Kevin, I was there for Saturday's game.
Nice.
Took my mom for Mother's Day.
Awesome.
I was able to be one of the 10,046 people that saw live the first ever Rays home rain delay. How about that? Let's give them a clap, everybody.
Yeah. Nice clap, jazz hands, all of that. We've seen the Rays have home games outdoors. We've seen the Rays have home games in Tampa, and now historical first, a rain delay. I don't know if anybody's ever been as excited for a rain delay, because my understanding is the Rays marketing and PR team came prepared as they had ponchos to hand out. They didn't charge you for those, did they? They just gave those out pro bono.
It was pretty cool. There was a big announcement on the Jumbotron. I know, shout out to Mark Topkin, who also put it on his Twitter, and that's actually where I saw it first, was on Topkin's timeline. And then I saw the board. I was like, holy crap, let's go get some. And it wasn't even raining yet. There was a weather delay to start the game, but it was just gray clouds. So we're like, okay, fine. Yeah. But then as soon as I saw it, I'm like, Mom, we got to get those ponchos. Are you kidding me? Like, even if it doesn't rain, we got to get them. And as soon as you got them, there was a little envelope, like a cover inside the poncho, like outside the poncho, like a little envelope, right? Outside of it, had the Rays logo, and it says "First Rays Rain Delay Commemorative Poncho," or whatever it was. And I thought that was like, it's the little things. We're talking with Warren Hypes. You get old and you start to appreciate the little things that just make you smile, the little things that make your life a little bit better, and just the extra thought that went into that. Just, hey, let's have this prepared. I think that was such a nice touch to. That's knowing your fan base.
Yeah, they did their homework. They had the data point of, we're playing outdoor baseball. We can do whatever we want with making games start later, or we can manipulate the schedule as much as we can in terms of front loading it. But inevitably, there's still going to be a weather issue. And luckily, the Rays were ready and willing. And I got to be honest, the Rays are in a little bit of a roll here between the poncho situation and then the giving away free tickets and parking to anyone that attended that Royals series. So they are on my good list right now. It's quite the antithesis of me going to Disney this past weekend, which I'm not a huge fan of because I don't like waiting 90 minutes in line to ride a 90-second ride, but that's neither here nor there. And you see people pull out their Disney ponchos. And it makes me think, what are people paying for those ponchos? 15, 20, $25 a pop. I mean, they'll sell water, they'll sell air if they could, like the state of Pennsylvania. If they can tax it, they will. Sort of the same situation with Disney there. But that is a cool moment, because I don't know if anybody would ever be happy for a rain delay, but that's the opportunity to kind of relish and cement that piece of history, if you will. Now, hopefully there's not a ton more of rain delays, but they got it out of the way there.
And I will say, I even kind of egged on my mom, because when the rain started to come on, okay, so let's put the ponchos in, right? Like, and it's exciting for the first like 2 minutes, like, hey, but then like it started to get a little bit heavier, and the game's still going. And my mom's looking at me like, can we get the bleep out of here, out of the rain? I was like, kind of told her, Mom, not today. Today, we're watching Rays baseball in the rain. We're going to just suck it up, and we're just going to be part of this first ever thing. It's just water. Nothing bad's going to happen. And she was
Happy Mother's Day. You now have the flu.
Yeah. I was like, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. We're getting wet on Saturday, Like, no, but it was great, man. It was kind of a surreal moment if you're a diehard baseball fan, which, by the way, if you're watching and listening to like Locked On Rays, you probably are. So you understand where we're coming from. But no, it was getting into the things within the baseball field. It was very, very a good series. Like the guy stepped up. And if we're going to talk about Saturday specifically, Taj Bradley coming out and delivering just a quality start with coming back. So he pitches 5 innings. There's a 38-minute rain delay, and this man comes out and delivers the 6th inning as well, just to keep the bullpen a little bit more fresh than asking some guys there in the back end to deliver, which, by the way, they've been kind of taxed a little bit, with that Philly series. So it was very much needed for him to just cover that one more inning. He said he had never done that before in the postgame. So I think kudos to Taj Bradley for his performance on Saturday, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And we are going to talk more in depth about the series, not necessarily just the rain. That was a cool part of it. If you were there in the flesh. But first, Ulises, we need to tell the audience something important.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started, and it's a complete look at your financial well-being. It manages your money. You can start building wealth. It's fantastic. It gives you everything. It's not just a budgeting app. And today, you can get started and take control of your finances with Monarch Money using code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's right. Using code LOCKEDONMLB gets you 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Again, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
All right, Ulises, you mentioned Taj Bradley wearing through the rain delay and coming back to pitch. He had a very solid outing, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He did allow the 2 homers, but as we've said many times before, and we will continue to say, you can live with the homer if it's of the solo variety. But that wasn't the other star of the show. There were many others that stepped up during that game and throughout the entire course of the series. It would have been nice to see the Rays get a clean sweep on Sunday. Alas, that didn't happen. But I think overall we have to be relatively pleased that, especially after the disaster that was the sweep against the Phillies and the way that game had ended on Thursday, like, just to go back to it for a second, because I know we didn't really have time to dive into it. We had Evan Klosky. We were interviewing him or having him on the show during the course of that game. And I assume that, hey, you're up 5-1 with 6 outs to go. You can methodically closed it out, even against a team as good as the Phillies. Alas, that didn't happen. And those are the types of games that make me way more frustrated than the clunker adjacent 7-0 games. Like you, victory was taken from you, basically. I know there's the whole jaws of defeat moniker, but that should have been a win, could have been a win, had to be a win, and it wasn't a win. So for the Rays to come back the next day and the day after that, and to get a couple wins against a decent, okay-ish Milwaukee team, I think does breed a little bit of confidence before they go up to Toronto out of the country.
Our pal Sully from Locked On MLB, by the way, check his show out. It's amazing. You're going to be a smarter baseball ball knower after listening to Sully. He has a theory that he taught me about, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, that a team season, and this is a theory, he hasn't actually put it to test, but I think it would be really interesting to say those victories for the Philly side, for example, like taking a victory out of the team's hand and then getting it for your own.
Stealing victory from the jaws of defeat, I believe, is the terminology.
Exactly. That plus the other way around is getting your victory being taken away from your hands with 6 outs to go, right? Like you had the W and then they take it away. A team's season is just a formula of the jaws of defeat minus the defeat, and that's what your season is going to be like. If you have more of the Philly type wins, you're probably looking at a good season. If you have more of those Rays losses than the others, then you're probably going to have a crappy season. And that's the kind of feeling that we had entering the Brewers series. But Friday and Saturday, the guy stepped up, which was very much needed for the fan base, because that was such a big letdown on Thursday. And boy, watching it unfold live while a sea of red is next.
Oh, yeah, you were at the game. I forgot about that. That's why you didn't record with us on Thursday evening going into Friday. Was I too far off base with the assumption that the Phillies crowd would be loud and proud and more or less take over the ballpark?
You definitely got the taking over the ballpark effect for sure. Even when the Rays were winning, they were very loud. Yeah. I don't think it was 70-30. Phillies, I think it's more like 60-40 maybe.
All right. I called it. I said 60-40. Yeah. That's fine. I said 60-40 last week.
Okay, there you go. So then you nailed that too. But I will say that 60-40, when you're that loud, it makes it look like you're 80-20. Right. And so it was tough. But in this Brewers series, even though there were a lot of Milwaukee Brewers fans in the park on Saturday, at least when I went, they weren't as raucous, and the Rays didn't really give the opposition any chance to really get hyped up about it. I know obviously Churio got that solo home run, and Ortiz got that other solo home run for the Brewers. But overall, I think the Rays played a very solid game during the weekend. And man, you
wish they would have scored more runs, but again, they won 2 games by 1 run. It would be nice to see a little bit more offense, and we're not going to go into all the reasons for this struggling offense. I know that we've covered that before, but there are little bits and pieces where we can glean from, like, hey, I know that Jonathan Aranda needs a day off every now and again, but that's a guy that you should be keeping in the order as much as possible, even if it's lefty. I don't care if it's Randy Johnson up on the mound or CC Sabathia up on the mound. He's hitting 340 and a 980 OPS, and he had 3 hits on Sunday in the loss. And
I don't need I like the counterpart when Jonathan Aranda is not in the lineup is now better than Jonathan Aranda. And that's why you have a counterpart, because they're going to be better than him or whoever the other player is that you're benching. Right now, at this point in time, nobody that is being put in place of Jonathan Aranda is better than Jonathan Aranda. Today, right now, they're not. They simply are not. So stop doing that and
ride the hot hand. If you need to give him a day off its feet, okay, DH him, and I'm willing to take Jonathan Diaz out of the lineup if that means that Aranda has to DH.
But the thing is, like, I think somebody said it on the YouTube comments, which people, thank you. You have been lighting up rather that comment box on fire with your comments. So keep it up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Somebody said it in the comments, like, okay, one's off the lineup a week, fine. You want to keep your guys healthy, and the Rays don't have the ability to just go and get another guy because of money constrictions. So fine, you got to keep these guys healthy. Twice a week, you're like, all right, well, it's a long baseball season. Got to get 3 times off in a week. Your best hitter, unless they're nursing something. What?
Unless they had a stomach flu that they didn't want to reveal or something like that. It's like, what's going on? I know that you're not expecting them to play 162, but I'm expecting you to play 140, 142.
Is that too much to ask now? Is that
so.
In 2025, are we asking too much of a player to give me 140? I mean,
Aranda is a little bit heavier and a little bit on the out of shaper side, but even then, you still find a way to stand up to the plate 4 times a game.
And again, my guy, there's a DH situation. Yeah. Even if you need to, and you can, and you know what, Yandy has been playing a lot of DH. I think you can sacrifice him at first base once in a while, right? Like, it's not too bad. So, yeah, I'm with you on sitting your star hitter, at least for this season, 3 times in a week. I think that's a little bit excessive. I would love it.
Yes,
I would love it if somebody were able to ask these questions, but I don't think they are asking that yet.
No, unfortunately not. All right, we have more to discuss on this episode, but first, we have to tell the audience something important. All right, it's that time. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Go ahead, crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios, it is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. What are you waiting for? Go ahead, get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. What's really cool about this too is no shells. So it makes that grab and go so much easier. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios, it is the snack that works as hard as you do. So go ahead, visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. So good. I'll repeat it again. wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Can we also give some props to a guy that has tremendous hair and has only been with the team a fortnight in Travis Jankowski? I mean, the dude never had a walk-off celebration hit of his own. And
definitely not in the majors. I think the last time he had that was in single A.
Right. So basically, and this man has been in MLB for the last decade. Yeah. So it was so cool to see him come through. I don't know if you saw the replay, and you guys can let me know in the comments below, but would the run have scored if the left fielder doesn't bobble the ball, doesn't come on with it cleanly? Because I was seeing it was a very close play. But regardless, it ended up happening, and Travis Jankowski became a hero for the Rays that weekend.
He did become a hero for the Rays again, he wasn't facing a slappy on the mound. This is Trevor McGill, who is every bit of 6'8" and 250 pounds and throws every bit of 99, 100 miles an hour. I think it was actually a single the other way on the 99 mile per hour pitch. And he's got a wonky delivery where it's almost like he extends backwards and then moves forward. So I think that's probably pretty difficult to time up. But just shout out to Jankowski. I'm glad you mentioned that because he is definitely an unheralded MLB player, a journeyman, a unheralded player on this Rays team. I think he is the guy, one of the guys that ultimately uplifts this team. Do I think he's going to hit 280 the rest of the season? Probably not, but he's here for a reason. And I think the Rays got him at the most perfect time because he was with the White Sox, if I recall previously. So for him to get new blood, fresh life in a Rays uniform, and not saying that the Rays are, going anywhere necessarily, but they're definitely in a better trajectory than the White Sox. So I think that puts a little bit more fun in his cap to have a show. But he seems to me like a guy that is a true team player and selfless type of dude where you just need those types of friends around. Where is he, going to do a bunch of things to light the world on fire? Is he going to light up the state? Probably not. But I think I would say there's a reason that he has lasted this long in the majors from team to team to team to team, probably because, not necessarily because of his talent, but because of his work ethic and grind and what he brings to the table as far as, explaining to the younger players, hey, this is what it takes to have staying power in the big leagues, especially if you're not a highly talented guy. I mean, this guy was, drafted out of Stony Brook, had one Division I offer coming out of high school, and he's kind of had to battle his entire career and probably will continue to have to battle his entire career. But this is like he's probably not going to be here after 2026, but I think the time he's here, kind of relish in it and enjoy it while it lasts, because he's that kind of veteran fill-in player that'll do whatever is asked of him and be a good voice for the rest of the team, in my opinion.
I haven't heard 3 minutes, more than 3 minutes of Travis Jankowski in interviews in my life. Not more than 3 minutes. And the 3 minutes came after Saturday when he was interviewed post-game, right? I can tell you, I would put a lot of green Skittles that Travis Jankowski is a great clubhouse atmosphere guy. 100%. Why? Because the numbers are not there sustainable for him to be for 11 years in the bigs and be a clubhouse cancer. So he's a positive influence, and he even said that in the post game conference. He said, some young guys I've taken under my wing, and it's not because I'm the greatest baseball player in the league, but because I do have some experience that I can lend those guys, and that's what you need. And like when we say, you need where are the veterans in this team? Like that's a get. We're not, obviously, would it be good? I'm just throwing out a name. People don't get too upset about it. Paul Goldschmidt. Types of Hall of Famers. Yeah, that would be great. We tried with Nelson Cruz, right? And he was a really good clubhouse guy, right? So, but it also means that Travis Jankowski's you have to have
the Eric Sogards of the world, the guys that you add at the trade deadline for a box of baseballs or a little
Eric Hinsky
that can, those types of dudes.
Those guys that they've been around and they can tell you things that are going to help you. Like we always say, Hinsky was the guy that told Longo, don't ever say no to your first millions. And if you like some Longo talk, well, guess what? You're going to get a lot of it on Tuesday's episode. But just overall, great weekend series. We do have a mailbag question. If you wanted to get into it, we could. If you wanted to save it, we could.
We'll probably save it for Wednesday's episode because we're running a little bit long here. But just hammer the point on Jankowski. Like, you got Chandler Simpson, you got Cam Meisner, you got Curtis Mead, you got, I know he's hurt right now, but Jake Mangum, all these young guys that could use a voice and a presence like Travis Jankowski. And again, he's probably only here for the next couple months, and that's fine, but utilize him while you can. And he might even help the team and uplift the team a little bit. And so far he's shown that. So, and I also just want to shout out a couple other players. I know Danny, and we've been critical of him of late, but he is running quite the on-base streak. Taylor Walls is seemingly hitting a little bit better of late, and I think focusing more on what he's supposed to be doing is hitting
Yes.
line drives and keeping the ball low and not trying to hit homers, because
Against the Phillies, he bunted one. He got himself a single by just bunting. Yes, give me that. Give me that. I would rather see Taylor Walls start to bunt so that infield comes in, and now you have a little space. Like, create yourself a reputation a little bit, so maybe you can start to swing again and get some holes. But again, the ego of a baseball player, sometimes it's their biggest enemy.
Yeah, well, you must have a big ego if you're, thinking you're hot crap and you look at the scoreboard and see you're sporting a 150 average or whatever. But hey, that's beyond me. And then Chandler Simpson, I know it was a loss on Sunday, but getting a pair of doubles, and might be the only guy or one of the only guys in baseball to get a double on what should be a single to the center fielder. So you're on notice, outfielders. You better get to the ball quick. You better be hustling and be ready to make a throw, because if you're lackadaisical out there, he is going to turn and burn, and he'll be at second before you know it. And I'm all for it.
All for it. And guess what? It's a double-edged sword, because if they're lackadaisical, he'll take second. And if they know it and they're on notice, guess what? That gets into their head, and that might be a little bit more pressure, and they might bobble the ball, and he still gets the second or even third.
By the way, Simpson has, in 73 at-bats, a 260 batting average, 5 RBI, 7 stolen bases, and a 596 OPS. I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that.
Keep going.
Would like to see the on-base percentage a little bit higher, but it'll come. He's still a rookie, so just give him some time with that, and he'll
let him cook. Let him cook.
On that note, thank you for listening to us and making us your first listen every day. We also want to remind you that for your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on the YouTubes or wherever you listen to podcasts.